It's been more than 5 weeks since the disappearance of 5 construction engineers. The builders with Nelan consultants on November 3rd visited Nigeria's southeastern Ebonyi state to supervise the Abakaliki Ring Road project. That visit from neighboring Enugu state to the site was the last families and friends would hear from them. The Abakaliki Ring Road project is a $150 million program being funded by the African Development Bank. Nelan Consultants was appointed by the bank to supervise the project. However, the company says while it failed to yield to the propositions of Governor Gov Umeahi, it experienced consistent interferences and threats from the state's chief executive officer. Nelan Consultants believes the abduction of its 5 engineers is connected to the differences its lead consultant Nelson Onyeme had with the governor.
The governor was insisting that they will be instructing the contractors of what to do on site, and they will also be issuing certificates of payment to the contractors. And the team leader, Engineer Onyeme, pointed out to the governor specific provisions of the contract that stipulates that it is the duty of the consultant to issue instructions to the contractor and to prepare and sign their certificates. The governor said that Nelan should return and relinquish the project vehicles, which, as per the contract, supposed to be used by the consultants. But due to the government hounding Nelan, Nelan had to give up one of the vehicles and was using one. And the governor said that one that they were using should be dropped by the consultants. And Engineer Nelson Onyeme was like, if I drop this vehicle, what do I continue the work with? So that was where a series of problems started. And at the stage, the governor said, oh, that is very stubborn and all that. So when all these things started happening, we became very, very uncomfortable. The way the governor was hounding us, trying to pressure us into doing their bid, contrary to the provisions of the contract.
So you say the government is complicit in all this?
That's not what I'm saying, but it makes me uncomfortable. Realizing how our relationship was with him makes me very, very uncomfortable. For instance, he said the meetings, project meetings, should be held in the government house. And Engineer Onyeme told him that that will amount to interference, that ADB specifically insists that project meetings are held in project offices, that if there's a minutes of meeting that is raised and it indicates that governor was, that the meeting was held in the government house, that ADB will call it a misprocurement and he will incur the wrath of ADB.
The Ring Road project passes through Effium community in Ohuku local government area of Ebonyi State, an area the police says had since been embroiled in communal clashes. They are of the view that the engineers, having knowledge of how volatile the area is, never sought clearance from authorities before carrying out the exercise. A spokesperson for the Ebonyi State Police Command, Lovett Order, told Arise News that the number of missing engineers are 3 and not 5. She could not also confirm whether the missing persons are alive or dead. Family members of the abducted engineers said they were called for a meeting by Governor Umeahi. He had stated government's effort at ensuring the abducted persons were rescued. But days after this meeting, the governor at the security summit reportedly announced their deaths and burial.
I heard over the news that the missing engineers are dead and buried. Nobody contacted any member of my family. I've been in touch with the governor. Nobody contacted us. I was in shock. I was in pain. My children also had it over the social media, through the internet. It was terrible for us. Because of that, I contacted the governor again and told him to confirm it. I wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth. I wanted a confirmation from him. And then the same day, on December 1st, he retracted it. He retracted what he said.
The thing he kept saying was that they weren't meant to go there. And that if they were to go, they should have actually told him first before going, so that he would have provided security. So I was thinking to myself, these are people that have been going there for almost a year now and haven't had any problem there. So why is this just happening?
The day we went to government house, all the women were crying. Even I myself, I cried. I'm telling you, since they announced they have been killed and buried, my mother, 85 years, is in the hospital as I'm talking to you. The wife has been crying since then. There is no consolation. The wife said that I'm just tricking her. So what I'm begging the Ebonyi State government, please, if they have been killed and buried, give us their corpse. If they are alive, release them. I promise, and my mother have said, my brother will not work in Ebonyi State again. They should take their contracts.
African Development Bank says it's aware of the disappearance of the engineers. The bank has declined to speak to Rise News on the development after it was alleged the project will go ahead in spite of the disappearance of the Nelan workers. Several efforts to get the Ebonyi State governor to react to the story has been met with a brick wall. Calls and a text message sent to the State Commissioner for Information, Uchenna Orji, were not returned. The governor's media aide, Francis Nwaze, also declined to speak to Rise News on this report. He referred this reporter to the State's Commissioner for Investment, Chioma Nweze. She also declined to speak to Rise News on the development. Members of the missing persons are demanding justice. They say they now fear for their lives, the lives of their children and other family members. They are appealing to President Muhammadu Buhari, the governments of Anambra and Enugu states to intervene in securing the release of the engineers, and if they are dead, their bodies be produced. Abel Ejikeme.